What's up? My name is Devin Jones. I'm a music maker, content creator, and a time traveler. Yeah, you heard me, a time traveler. See this magical ring? It was given to me by a mystic. And he taught me to travel within 30 minutes to anywhere in the world to talk to anyone I wanted to, as long as I came back in the allotted time. I decided to go talk to an icon named Gil Scott Heron. Join me as I time travel to talk to Gil Scott Heron. I have so many questions, Mr. Heron. I don't know where to start. I guess we could start at the beginning. I was born in Chicago on April Fool's, 1949. My mother was an opera singer from Tennessee, and my father was a soccer player from Jamaica. Now, early on, they wouldn't get along, and my mother would move us down south to my grandmother's in Tennessee. Mr. Heron, who was your first catalyst? Who was the first influence that started your soul intellectualism? My grandmother was a big lover of Langston Hughes. Langston Hughes showed the average man winning, going from poverty, losing, to a winning lifestyle. I heard you speaking Spanish on some of your recordings. Along your journey, where did you pick up Spanish at? My grandmother died, and my mother and I would be forced to move to New York and go live with my uncle in the projects in Chelsea. It was mostly around white people and Puerto Ricans, so I learned to speak Spanish really quickly to survive. Where did you go to school, sir? Did education play a great influence on your soul intellectualism? Well, since I was in New York and I admired Langston Hughes, I ended up going to Lincoln University, the same school where Langston Hughes, Kwame Nkrumah, Thurgood Marshall, and many other prestigious, learned men would attend. I wanted to go somewhere where I would be challenged to think, and Lincoln University had those students that made me think. So the Harlem Renaissance, Lincoln University, New York City, all of this is a hotbed for revolutionary thought. So how did all this take shape? How did it gel? The Harlem Renaissance was still continuing from around the turn of the century, and it still had a huge influence on the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s. Now, me going to Lincoln University, I surrounded myself with poets and musicians, and I became associated with the last poets. They were a huge influence on my poetry and my creativity as a whole. As time would go by, your poetry would get more potent and stronger and stronger. You fused prolific African thought, American society, the African plight, with music. Whitey on the Moon, what brought that about? What was the inspiration behind Whitey on the Moon? I would end up creating the poem Whitey on the Moon, influenced from some Whiteys on the Moon. Now, people in our government seem to be paying more attention what's going on up there than what's going on down here. So I decided to make a poem dedicated to the people. A rat done bit my sister Nell with Whitey on the Moon. Her face and arms began to swell, and Whitey's on the moon. I can't pay my doctor bills, but Whitey's on the moon. 10 years from now, I'll be paying still with Whitey on the moon. You know, the man just upped my rent last night, 'cause Whitey's on the moon. No hot water, no toilets, no lights, but Whitey's on the moon. I wonder why he's up at me, 'cause Whitey's on the moon. 'Cause I was already giving 50 a week, now Whitey's on the moon. You know, taxes taking my whole damn check, the junkies making me a nervous wreck, The price of food is going up. And if all that crap wasn't enough, a rat done bit my sister Nell. With Whitey on the moon, her face and arms began to swell. With Whitey on the moon. Is all that money I made last year for Whitey on the moon? Why I ain't got no money here? Whitey on the moon. You know, I about just had my fill of Whitey on the moon. I think I'll send these doctor bills, air mail special, to Whitey on the moon. Gil Scott Heron would attend Lincoln University, which was located in Pennsylvania, very close to New York. Here he would meet Brian Jackson and would form the band Black and Blues. When Brian and I formed Black and Blues, we were trying to emulate John Coltrane and the Southern blues that I grew up on. Another classic piece of work that would be a huge influence on hip-hop artists and creators alike was the legendary The Revolution Will Not Be Televised on the album Pieces of a Man in the year 1971. I asked Gil about that, and he had to say this. During the time of The Revolution Will Not Be Televised, marches and change and riots were going down all around us, and the youth weren't having any of it. The Last Poets came out with a piece where they talked about the revolution will not have any commercial interruptions. I admired them. I took it a step further. You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, or cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions. The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon blowing a bugle, leading the charge by John Mitchell, General Abrams, Spyro Agnew, to eat hog maws confiscated from a Harlem sanctuary. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by the Schaefer Award Theater. It will not star Natalie Woods or Steve McQueen or Bullwinkle and Julia. The revolution will not give your mouth sex appeal. The revolution will not get rid of the nub. The revolution will not make you feel 5 pounds thinner because the revolution will not be televised, brother. There will be no pictures of you and Willie Mae pushing that shopping cart down the block on the dare run or trying to slide that color TV into a stolen ambulance. NBC will not be able to predict the winner at 8:32 and report from 29 districts. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of Whitney Young being ran out of Harlem with a brand new process. There will be no motions of still lights of Roy Wilkins strolling through Watson in a red, black, and green liberation jumpsuit that he's been saving for just the proper occasion. Green Acres, Beverly Hillbillies, and Hooterville Junction will no longer be so damn relevant, and women will no longer care if Dick got down with Jane on Search for Tomorrow, because black people will be in the streets searching for a brighter day. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no highlights on the 11 o'clock news and no pictures of Harry Arm women liberationists and Jackie Onassis blowing her nose. The theme song will not be written by Jim Webb or Francis Scott Keys, nor sung by Glenn Campbell, Tom Jones, Johnny Cash, Engelbert Humperdinck, or the Rare Earth. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be right back after a message by a white tornado, white lightning, or white people. You will not have to worry about the dove in your bedroom, the tiger in your tank, or the giant in your toilet bowl. The revolution will not go better with Coke. The revolution will not fight germs that may cause bad breath. The revolution will put you in the driver's seat. The revolution will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised. The revolution will be no rerun, brother. The revolution will be live. Well, my time is growing short, sir. Thank you, Brother Heron, for inspiring us, for teaching us, and for bringing us something new. You're welcome. You're welcome. And best wishes on your future endeavors. Here's to you. You inspired a whole generation. Thank you, sir. Guess he wasn't lying when he said he was a time traveler. Either that, I gotta lay off this bottle. Kind of remind me of that space ninja that keep coming by here. My name is Devin Jones, also known as Big Shoes. I make music. I'm a filmmaker. I got this magic time travel ring. I love history. And I'm a time traveler. Who knows where this ring will take me next? I know it won't be boring. And I'm gonna tell you all about it.
You see that black boy over there running scared? His old man in a bottle. He done quit his 9 to 5. He drink full time, and now he's living in a bottle.